A controversial £2 billion housing scheme planned for North London has been given the green light after campaigners failed in their legal attempts to block it. They argued that a decision by Haringey Council to approve the plan was unlawful. But despite the High Court ruling, the development may not go ahead anyway because of a political row. Here's Susanna Mendonça.
Timing has been everything in this saga. Haringey Council wanted to get its deal for a multi-million-pound regeneration scheme signed off months ago. Protesters used a High Court challenge to slow things down, while Labour infighting and the tick-tock of local elections fast approaching forced the council to pause the whole thing. So today, while the protesters failed to get Haringey's development plans to be judged as being unlawful, they're still seeing it as a victory.
I think it is dead in the water, and politically the climate has completely changed, partly as a result of our efforts. But we need to have a high-level decision, and we need to have a decision to stop, not just to halt the HDV, to kill it off and to go back and think again.
This is a ruling the council had expected back in the autumn. Now the judge has given it the go-ahead, but the political situation has changed completely.
The council leader announced her resignation last week amid claims of bullying and sexism in the Labour Party. Councillors who supported her plans had been deselected in favour of people aligned to the left-wing group Momentum, which supports Jeremy Corbyn. And last night, the Labour group here backed a motion to stall any decision on regeneration until after May's local elections.
I have no pleasure in proposing this amendment because I still believe as firmly today, and it may not be a popular belief, but I believe it, that the HDV is the best solution available to us, because politics means engaging in the world as it is rather than the world as we may want it to be.
So the reality is that politically, time ran out for the council leader to sign off her housing plans while she was waiting to get today's OK from the High Court. This estate in Tottenham is one of the areas earmarked for regeneration in the Haringey Development Vehicle, or HDV as it's known, which is a partnership with a private developer. Protesters were concerned about the future of social housing, and last night one Labour opponent of the HDV told me that the party was now speaking with one voice.
There is unity here in the Labour group around the reality that the HDV will certainly not proceed under this administration and would be left to the next administration. I think the HDV has ended.
So now it's a case of waiting for time to pass until May's local election brings in a new set of councillors who will be expected to decide what happens next. Susanna Mendonça, BBC London News.
Our political editor is in Westminster. So, Tim, this really has evoked unusually strong feelings on all sides.
Yeah, so toxic and so much more than a local housing row now, because frankly of this factional political dimension within Labour, which gives it perhaps, much wider resonance than just this North London borough. Yes, you've got a lot of people, ordinary people we call them, who are worried about the future. A leap in the dark, 20 years of rebuilding, knocking down, what happens at the end of this. Fears that are shared by people in estates across London, incidentally, with big regeneration projects. But here, then, you've got Momentum, this grassroots group that backs Jeremy Corbyn, demonised by some as hard left and aggressive and intimidating, but who say themselves all they're trying to do is revive local democratic practice and local politics. And what they want to do is protect local people's interests and listen to people. And that's what the Chancellor, the Shadow Chancellor, John McDonnell, said today.
I'm hoping now there's a real listening to the local community, and I think that's what the Labour Party up there is doing, because the feeling I was getting from when I was up there is people weren't confident that this scheme would deliver them the secure homes that they need. That's why there needs to be a real reconsideration.
So, Tim, what's likely to happen now?
Well, the current administration has presented this as a binary choice. You either kind of do nothing and just preside over gradual decline and dilapidation, or you have to bite the bullet and enter into this partnership with this huge developer who you can certainly say could do this job, albeit many people are worried about this, the private sector involvement. The people that have opposed it, and it's very likely who will form a majority in the next Labour administration after May, will have to answer the question, what what would you do instead? And that is still not clear. So if they're going to reject altogether the plans with Lend-Lease, if they're going to say we're not going to go ahead with this, what alternative are they going to be providing for the local people up there instead?
OK, Tim, many thanks from Westminster.